This is Digital Trends Live. Thanks for joining us. It is Friday. I'm Greg Nibbler, which means it is time for another edition of Tech Briefs. We have Ken Young from Flipboard joining us right now. Ken, hello.
Hey, Greg, nice to see you.
Good
Time for a fun-filled week.
Yeah, exactly. Another week, a whole lot of stories to cover. We're going to try to get you as much information as we can in about 10 minutes. So let's start off with this, the TV streaming wars. I feel like we talk about it almost every other week, but there is so much going on with it. There's always some new developments and some pretty big ones this week. One of them being NBC Universal, which we knew they were going to be having a streaming service, came out with the name of their service. It's going to be called Peacock. Interesting name. I mean, it is the logo, but I don't know if I feel like saying, I'm going to go watch something on Peacock. That feels kind of weird. But nonetheless, that is the name of the streaming service. And a few different things in association with that is how much that syndicated content is going to be brought back for all of these services. And so we've got a few different things in the news about that. Seinfeld going to Netflix for $500 million. HBO Max paying we think up to $1 billion for Big Bang Theory. And then, of course, Friends, just a paltry $425 million. So huge deals, huge things going on in this. What are your thoughts about all these?
Look, okay, so Peacock is, there's disagreements about whether that's actually a good name or bad name, but it certainly bucks the trend because as you look at a lot of these companies that are launching streaming services, there's something similar about every single one. I can't quite put my finger on it. I think it's that plus sign, right? I mean, you have Disney Plus, Apple TV Plus, BET is about to launch one called BET Plus. TiVo apparently is going to launch one soon. It's called, wait for it, TiVo Plus. So everyone's having the plus. The plus is being iconic for streaming services now. So the fact that NBC is bucking that trend and doing with Peacock, I'll give them credit for some creativity and some tie back into the history of the brand. But you're right. Like NBC's Peacock will have NBC Universal's Peacock will have, I believe, 15,000 hours of programming, including they're going to bring back original reboots of Battlestar Galactica and even Saved by the Bell. So, I mean, the latter one I'm kind of very interested in because anyone who kind of grew up back in the 80s and 90s enjoys, Saved by the Bell. So I'm kind of interested to see what happens there. But there's NBC and Comcast companies certainly do not have a shortage of their catalog, very similar to Warner Media's CBS with their HBO Max Plus Go now, whatever they're calling it these days. So look, this is pretty interesting. What's notable about NBC Peacock is that it's going to be free for those that have a cable subscription. So it's kind of like it's a good thing. It's like it certainly bucks the trend from all the other streaming services where you can pay as a subscription. But the catch is that you have to be a Comcast subscriber or have a cable subscription, I believe. So that's kind of it kind of defeats the purpose of being a cord cutter if you really want the NBC Universal a library of shows. But to get to the point about the catalog, look, you're right. Like companies are paying hundreds of $1 million for this content, right? I mean, you look at what and it's basically a shift, right? Where's The Office going? Where is Friends going? Where Netflix has this, and then it goes back to the original to CBS, and therefore everyone's worried about Netflix. But there's big money to be had for all of these shows that have completed their run on broadcast TV, and people are as nostalgic of wanting to watch. Like these have they have a deep bench of these type of shows.
Yeah,
and it's very interesting. I believe it's on Variety or earlier on. Reed Hastings, the CEO of Netflix, he was talking about how much the cost of to produce The Crown, which just released season 3. He says, $125 million to produce a single season. He says that's a bargain. Now, I mean, 125 million compared to 500 million to nearly $1 billion for an entire series.
That's the thing.
That's a pretty decent deal. I mean, obviously, when you factor in the whole thing, but look, all these companies, Apple, Disney, Netflix, and so on and so forth, will wind up paying a huge amount of money to produce all this money. So all these companies are going to have a massive war chest. So I wouldn't be surprised to see things like Doctor Who,
right.
Being sold for like more than $1 billion to Netflix or Amazon Prime or whoever.
I think Doctor Who's already going to be on Peacock, if I remember right. Or no, maybe it's HBO Max. I don't know. At this point, there's so many old shows that are coming out there, and whatever it's going to end up landing. Yeah, it's very interesting. We need to get through a lot of stuff really quick. Just a one-word answer. Which is better, The Office, Friends, or Seinfeld?
Okay, let's go on. We don't have enough time to talk about this.
I know. One word answer. One word answer. I want an answer, Ken.
What were the choices?
Seinfeld, The Office, or Friends?
Friends.
Wrong. All right, continuing on. All right, let's continue on. Let's talk about some more tech news. We need to get to this stuff. So let's talk about Facebook and Facebook being in the news, talking about Portal. They want to continue on with this hardware, getting this hardware out. They already had the one Portal that came out. Now they have two upgraded versions of that one, kind of different sizes. But then this Portal TV, where you can fix it to a regular television. It will have a camera that will follow you around. And they want you to have video conferencing. They're kind of looking at it as like the future of social media, to where you'd engage with this. You can watch shows with somebody. There's a few things here. Number one, it's Facebook. And I think there's a big trust issue that's going on. And on top of that, is this something that people would really want to use anyway? I mean, I want to get your thoughts on it. I have my opinions of this. What are your thoughts on it, Ken?
Okay, so what could possibly go wrong with Facebook? I mean, this is certainly a sound company, but seriously, I mean, the fact that the TV is the biggest screen in your home, it hands down. I mean, this is the gathering place, and every tech company has sought that wants to enter the home entertainment space or kind of do the IoT smart home space. They want to be around the television. Rather than you having to buy a separate hardware device, whether it's the actual Portal Mini or Portal Pro, whatever they're calling it,
right.
Or any of the other IoT type devices like that you have to just set up. This is actually going to be simpler. Like, you don't actually need the hardware because you're already familiar with the hardware. All you need is this little camera device that attaches via HDMI. And then what you do is you authenticate with your Facebook login, which is everyone's so comfortable doing. And then you just log in. By then you can contact anybody, communicate with your friends and family through Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp. What's notable about this whole thing now is that you're able to do Facebook with Messenger and WhatsApp, but WhatsApp's the only service that allows end-to-end encryption. So right now you're kind of like, if you really want to add that trust factor, then you might as well do WhatsApp to communicate with people through your Portal or your Portal TV. Now this Portal TV, I mean, it's cheap. It's like about a $149 if I remember correctly.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, and it's very similar to Microsoft Connect, but it brings together what Facebook seems to have done very well. And I haven't heard any poor reviews about their technology. Is that it allows you to focus on the individuals, as opposed to just like, oh, if you have a picture next to you, it's going to recognize that as a human being. It's going to recognize who you are. It's going to be able to follow you around. So that way you don't have to worry about, oh, I'm moving off to the side. Okay, hold on, you're out of frame, come back. Like, the camera will know where you are. So it kind of keeps that experience seamless. So that's always a good thing. But again, it's like, do you really want this? We're in a climate right now where people are worried, are things listening to you? You know, anything that has, as you said, you and I talked about a while back, is like anything with a microphone or anything with a camera is probably surveilling you right now. And there are plenty of articles, plenty of reporters that are saying, yeah, this is actually true. And companies are admitting, yeah, we are doing this. One thing that Facebook admitted is that their contractors are listening to Portal conversations to learn, right? And they said, oh, we're not doing it anymore. So but now with this relaunch, with the revamped Portal TV, or with the Portal TV and the revamped, redesigned Portal devices, now users are going to be able to opt out of having Facebook listen to their conversations. And I mean, but obviously that should have been opt out right from been an opt-in process right from the get-go.
Right.
But Facebook follows suit with what Apple and Microsoft and Amazon, all these other companies have been doing, saying, look, they're listening to conversations and claiming that they're doing it so they can learn to train their algorithm. So people are kind of skeptical about those things.
Yeah, I mean, and I think deservedly so, especially when it comes to not only the devices in general and all the stuff that we found out about that, between Alexa and Google and Siri and obviously Facebook. That would be a huge concern. So it'll be interesting to see how this sells, who exactly their target market is, and where it goes. But that is something that's out there. You can order it, and that's their new devices. So they're going to continue, it looks like, going down this hardware side of things. One final thing that we needed to bring up, I know because we're running out of time, as we always do, there's so much to catch up on, has to do with Huawei and something that they are doing. We all know the struggles that Huawei has and the battle they're having with the US government, and when it comes down to Google and the possibility of Google taking away their apps. Well, Huawei came out with their new flagship phone, and it doesn't have any Google apps on it. They're using a base Android OS, and that's kind of the first time we've seen something like this from a major phone manufacturer. And I guess, we want to kind of just highlight what some of the ramifications are of that.
Yeah, imagine LG, Samsung launching a flagship phone, like Samsung launching their Galaxy phone without Google, without Android, right? Now, look, there's different types of Android. There's the Android that many people have come to expect on their devices. But there's also an open source version out there, and that is what Huawei has done. Huawei has not installed Harmony OS, so they announced that probably, I believe, a couple months ago. And look, this whole thing is all related to allegations from the U.S. government and also, I believe, governments in Europe who are claiming that Huawei is part of the whole surveillance package from China. So this is very, like, they're kind of getting beaten on from all sides here. They're banned from using Google products. So they're like, here's our flagship phone minus the core thing that would actually protect us. So that's very noticeable. Like, look, their hardware, as you're seeing right now, is fantastic. It looks fantastic. And I think
it does look good.
Yeah, Digital Trends you guys have a hands-on review about this device. But what's notable is that, look, you don't have the Google version of Android. So that means that while you do have Android on the Mate 30, you're not going to get the latest security updates on there. So you're not guaranteed the protections that you need from hackers or from spyware or malware or anything like that. So, I mean, if we're going to believe the allegations about Huawei, I mean, you might as well give the Chinese government your phone right from the get-go and let them go ahead and access whatever you want, because that's basically what you don't have those type of protections on there. And this phone won't even be available in the U.S. Huawei has rarely had their devices available in the U.S. largely because of the ban. And also, it's noticeable that they announced it in Munich in Europe. But whether that's going to be fully available there remains to be seen.
Well, we'll have to see what happens with it. And yeah, definitely something for a major phone manufacturer to come out with something without Google being involved on that Android side of things. And you're right, security being a huge issue. So lots to catch up on. You can read more about everything at Digital Trends and Flipboard. Ken, sorry I threw you out there with that random question. I'm a Seinfeld person. I just wanted to see where we stood on that, but we're still friends.
Well, we're both wrong. Let's just put it that way.
Probably. All right, Ken, thanks so much. As usual, always fun. We'll see you next week.
Likewise.